I'm 39 years old, and I didn't find out until I was 38 years old who called CPS 38 years ago, and how and why did I end up in foster care. Let me tell you the story. Growing up, I had always been told by my foster parents, who were also the people that eventually adopted us, that someone found my sister wandering around in a Venture parking lot when she was 3 years old at 10 o'clock at night without shoes on. Do any of you 80s babies remember Venture stores? It's basically like the Target of the 80s. Like, here you go. I found a picture. I'm going to post it. This may have just been a Chicago thing. I don't know. Anyway, someone called the cops. CPS showed up at our parents' house and took us away. Okay, that's it. That's the story. That's all I was told my entire life. So I just assumed that I had negligent parents and my sister was wandering around in a parking lot. That's what I always thought. But one of the gifts about being adopted and having been in foster care is the mystery. Things just keep unfolding. It's like the longest episode of Law and Order you've ever seen, because it's your life. You go years and years and years thinking something's true, and then bam, you find something else out and you're like, what the fuck? So a couple years ago, I got something called the closed file report from my time in foster care, which is this packet of documents that contained any instances of abuse and neglect, psychological notes, and how I ended up in foster care. And when I read them, I was like, well, this is different. Also note that I found my biological father when I was 18, and he had his version of events, which were sort of similar, but something was unexplained. He said, me and your mother separated. She kept you girls. I went over to check on you one day. The house was filthy. You guys were filthy. She clearly wasn't taking care of you. And then you went to stay with me. The next night, someone called Chicago, it's DCFS, and said they found your sister in a parking lot at 10 o'clock, but it was like 10:30 or 11 o'clock and you guys were asleep in your playpen. So it wasn't actually physically possible for the claim to have been true, but they took you anyway. So that was his version of events. So I opened this packet and it says, first of all, yes, they were separated. My biological father went to check on us and I had a really bad burn on my arm, like a 3rd-degree burn. And he called the cops and they went to go check on us and interviewed my mother. And she told them, I was 10 months old, okay? And she told them that I wanted some applesauce and got up and put some applesauce in the microwave and burned my arm. And they were like, ma'am, she can't walk yet. And he was like, she said, oh, well, it was her sister. Real bizarre, but kind of They ordered us to go and stay with our dad, and he was living with his parents at the time, so it was the 3 of them in an apartment, and that's all I knew. And I'm like, you know what? I have an aunt. I'm going to ask her if she knows anything about this. This aunt is my birth mother's sister, and she's been in my life since I was 18, okay? Since I located my family. She has had plenty of opportunities to divulge this information to me. I just happened to catch her intoxicated one night, and I said, hey, Auntie, do you know who called CPS and told them that my sister was wandering around in a parking lot in the middle of the night? Do you know anything about that? She goes, Kelly, you're not gonna believe it. It was your mother. She couldn't stand that you were with Robert. 38 years, Auntie, and you just are now telling me that it was my own mother who had us put in foster care. 38 years.